What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's me, Izzy, and the show had just begun, so it was a hard one too. It took me a while because I had not one, but I had two cancellations due to emergency situations. So I have to give a special thank you to the person who stepped up to the plate. I know there was some others that tried to step up, but he was the first to step up to the plate. So I am going to invite him with a warm welcome, and we're gonna bring him into the party like we always bring him into the party. So let's get the guy out here now while I do my best to bring him into the party.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And it's Sector 2815. Paul, what's going on, my man?
Not much is going on. Hello, everyone. Are you tired of me yet?
Are you
I'm like
tired of me?
I had only slabs on Saturday. I was on obviously on Week's End last night. Now I'm here. This is a lot for me. I mean, now I know it's not for some people, but 3 days in a row. This is right down on your calendar. This date.
Oh man, yeah, man. So what a weekend, man! It's been right. Yeesh, you got the holiday weekend going on, all that fun stuff. But first and foremost, I have to say thank you for stepping up. I really appreciate it. I was like, I had someone scheduled, and then unfortunately, he had to deal with one of the emergencies that's happening over in Texas. So much love goes out to him. And then I had another individual who contacted me today. He's like, "Yeah, I could do it. It'd be great." And then, like within the last half hour, he's like, "Yeah, something came up. I really can't do it. I'm really sorry." And he sends me a photo and everything, and I'm like, "Don't worry about it, man. The show will go on."
Absolutely. And Las Cruces just said. Plus, I did our show this morning, so twice in one day is even more unusual.
So speaking of Las Cruces, what's going on? Las Cruces definitely made the show.
Mhm.
He ain't missing it. He 12:49 today. He hit it, and he got in with a second woohoo,
Mhm.
and then number 3 with hello from Nuevo Mexico. See, everybody's calling it New Mexico. I call it Nuevo Mexico because why not, right? We got our boy Tony is in the house. Scream for me. Yes, that's right. Everybody wants to scream for Izzy verse, right? But you know what? I'll give you one of these.
Hey, baby.
So there you go. Kenneth Bird is here saying hello. What's up, Kenneth? Also, we got Arelis Delgado. Hello, Arelis. Nice seeing you. Wellborn is also in the house with hi. And my boy Rafael Terrares, he was gonna try to co-host, but he also has a show, so he can't make it. So much love to Rafael. Here's another guy that we're gonna bring him into the show sooner or later. Joseph, the Michaels, the Adventurous Joe. Hello, all. What's going on? Also, Daniel Carpenter, channel member, also is in the house. DVH has made it. Hoo. Evening, y'all. Ryan Riley, sup, cool people. And there's the who from DVH. There goes Tone. Tone. All right. Big Lion Cat. Hello from
DLC.
Pennsylvania. Digger Jim, never enough Paul.
Oh, stop.
You know what I mean? We got a lot of good people in the house. So we're gonna have a lot of good fun today because we're gonna be talking about a few things that are going on, what's trending, what's new. But first, I want to share everybody what's happening with the Rat Pack. So we got the Rat Pack in the house, and if you're not a member of the Rat Pack, this is a good time to be a member because I said there was going to be more details tonight about what I'm going to bring for this month's giveaway. Dude, it's a lot, and you know what? It's not over. So I think it's a good time to share it.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's turn off the background for a second because all of it's going to go clear afterwards. So if you notice, it is definitely Deadpool Wolverine related.
Mhm.
I think that's a little obvious. I was thinking about getting all my Spider-Man books out, but then I was like, I'll stick to the theme. So first things up, I have a stack, and this is just the beginning. I got a stack of items I'm giving away. It's all going to be part of the channel membership, and I'm going to show you how this works, guys, because I know I want everybody to be part of it, just like Joe is. See,
Yeah,
Joe is ready for that Rat Pack, right?
that's
It's
a
better
lot of
than
books.
not.
I
It
would
is.
almost I would almost call it a fat stack if it wasn't actually already trademarked by somebody.
I know, right? So the first book I'm going to show you guys is one of the new Stormbreakers.
Ooh,
I always like this Jane Balzuldu. I can't even say the name properly.
mm,
Jane Balzul. So that's a nice little
yeah,
Wolverine Deadpool. So we got that. We got a little Stormbreaker variant. Here's another one, the Saturday morning variants Deadpool #1. That's also going to be part of the giveaway.
nice.
Right? We have an Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool #1, another variant.
Mm,
hmm Okay. I know some people are gonna love this one. Deadpool issue #3. This is a Rob Liefeld variant
with feet.
with feet. Who said he couldn't do feet? Probably got one of his helpers. We got a Wolverine. Remember this one?
Mm,
So this one's. I always forget which issue this is, but we got a nice little die cat. Is it
mm,
50? I know the original's 50, but I'm not sure if this one's also
I'm not
50.
sure.
All right, so we got that one. We got the X Deaths of Wolverine issue #1. We got nice little Dan Jurgens.
Mm,
Okay, and now we got some good. We got some signature books. I wanted to throw in some books with signatures, so why not throw in Wolverine 150 signed by Chris Claremont?
nice.
Okay. Also, we got a nice little set of books here that I want to showcase. All right, and again, these are all signed, and this set was signed by Fred Van Lente, and that's Wolverine First Class #1, Wolverine First Class issue #2, and look who's there, Sabretooth.
Mm,
All right, and we got Wolverine First Class issue #3. All three of these books are signed by Fred Van Lente.
did you get those at Heroes Con?
Oh no, long before that.
I meant the Claremont one. Sorry.
Oh no, long before
No.
that too.
Okay.
This one, however, man, I'm happy that I have another copy of this because this book wouldn't have gone away. Because it is such a gorgeous cover. It is a black and white Wolverine Origin #5, the sign
Wow.
by Joe Quinsada.
Wow. Very nice.
And now you could take this to JSA and get it slabbed.
Hmm.
So you get to see the signature right there in the center. You see it's big Q.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now this one is interesting because I was looking at I picked this book up this week, right? This is the new book, and it's a Stormbreaker cover, right? That's Let me show you the Stormbreaker cover of Wolverine
Hmm.
Deep Cuts, right?
Hmm.
But when I was observing this book today, the staples are in the wrong places.
Oh
So
no.
so there's a staple. Where's the first one? There's a staple here.
What?
Let's see. Look at that. See the staple there?
Yeah.
And then there's a second one. Where's the second one? The second one's down here.
Yeah. You can see it. Yep. Wow.
So I don't know what's this. I don't know what this means. Is it just a bad? I got an era book, and not it's one hell of an era.
Yeah.
So so I'll get the actual book. I don't know if anybody is interested in the era book. Not that it has some major value to it, but it's a CF Villa. All right, now let's go off with our reprints. We got some reprints in this house, starting with Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Hmm.
This one's the closest thing I've ever seen to a true facsimile. Because I know Mark and his whole anti-facsimile thing. But when I saw this book, it was very hard to determine if this was the facsimile or not. And then it's really the barcode here, and inside the book it actually does say facsimile edition. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah. I
is a
mean,
hard.
absolutely. But partially because it wasn't. I mean, comparatively speaking, it wasn't all that long ago that came out, right?
Exactly. So it's relative. It has several years to it. And then I also have another book that you would consider to be a facsimile, but this is a foily,
Oh yeah. That's
Deadpool.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's not as good as a Legion Loot version, but who's to say? All right. Now let's go up with the big books. All right.
Okay.
So that was nothing, right? So if you are a member of any tier, so starting from the 99 cents up, right? Any tier, you will qualify to win this Ivan Tao
Wow.
Wolverine. This book is going pretty hot in the market, in the aftermarket right now. So this is part of any tier. So if you're part of any tier, this is going to be in the pack, right? And then if you are a member of the Urban or above, then you're going to get a sketchy.
Okay. Nice.
All right. And this is the cool one. This is the one that has the little crown on Deadpool #1. So that's going to be part of it. And it finally, I kind of showed this off this week at if we were doing Spidey's show, and the package came in the mail, and I opened it right on the spot. So we have a
Ooh,
9.6 Wolverine 3 right there. All of
very nice.
this is gonna be for Urban and above. So Urban and above gets the special books.
Hmm.
Everybody else gets the other books. But if you're definitely part of it, that's what this week's giveaway. And there will be more.
But wait, there's more.
Next week I will unveil some more items, because I do have some more on its way. But that's going to be part of the giveaway item for the Rat Pack.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. I mean, you're gonna have to give these people like a little while to pick it up because they're gonna have to rent a U-Haul.
Sure. I'm more concerned if I have to send it overseas, man. DVH is DVH won last month, and I went, oh. But his box is ready to go. It's actually going out later this week. So, so he already saw a big box of all his goodies.
Nice.
So he's looking forward to that box, and I added some extra stuff that he's not aware of. So there you have it.
Ooh.
Yeah, yep. Good luck if I win. Oh my goodness. If you win for the next month, I'm gonna be like, yo, dude, you gotta. Anyway, with that said, guys, all that's part of the July giveaway. So, of course, we're going to do the drawing the first week of August, the first show in August. So that's happening. So make sure you're part of the Rat Pack. If you're a part of it, all you have to do, you can start as low as 99 cents a month. That's how little bit, man. Paul, that's how little bit, Paul.
Mhm.
99 cents. That's all it takes to get a chance to win all this. So we're back in the Izzyverse.
There you go.
And it's time to talk about what's backing. So let's see what's trending. So I looked at this week's Key Collector app, and I saw all these books coming. Did you get a chance to look at the Key Collector? I know we talked briefly.
I did not.
Okay, so you're gonna see some books here that you're gonna be very familiar with,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna be some books here that's again it's spec for the sake of options. And the first book in this list that we're seeing that's spec for the sake of options is this one called Mindset, which came out from Vault Comics back in 2022.
Mhm.
I really do wish TW was around to see this because I want to know what's his thoughts on these books. But so this book is being developed now by Don Cheadle's production company.
Mhm.
Interesting, but it's been optioned. And look at this. It has an increase of 2,000%.
Oh, and the comic speculation mountain is littered with the number of comics that have been optioned and never been made.
Exactly. And this one does the interesting thing about this book, it does has a pretty cool concept behind it. So it's kind of like it has a lot it's kind of like what if I'm trying to remember that movie. Ready Player, it's kind of like a Ready Player One type of environment where you're going into this virtual world and stuff like that with mindset. But the internet is taking control of your mind. So it
Mhm.
has a little horror element to it as well. What's going on, Danny? Danny Stanton's in the house as well. All right. So
And I think from the Hollywood side of it, it pretty much is almost if you have a creator owned comic book and it's a number one, they just go after those just to pick them off to see, hey, if this turns into another Walking Dead, I got in early with the rights.
yeah, exactly. And so there is something behind it. When an introvert tech geek accidentally discovers mind control. It has a. It reminds me of the Lawnmower Man from back in the day.
Yep.
Not the story, but the movie. So
Hmm.
we'll see. It's a possibility, but again, right now, if you find this book for $4, pick it up. That's
Yeah.
my take, right? If you see this book for over $15, give it a couple of weeks. People are gonna
Yeah.
forget all about it. No one's gonna talk about it, and
Yeah.
that's
You
that.
you almost really can't go wrong if it's a number one creator owned book. Just get the first issue at cover price, and you know what?
Hmm.
For
Yeah,
every 30 that tank, one or two might take off, and
yeah, especially if you get these books under $10, right? You get these
yeah,
books,
exactly.
you just hold on to them. Just let them sit there, and you got the thing, right?
Hmm.
Just like my boy Brian LCS. Don't forget to vote for the CBCA awards, CBC awards. I always get that A part
Hmm.
right. But Brian's in the house. I don't know if I had said what's up to Digger Jim. Who else showed up out of nowhere? Beckerman showed up. I see Beckerman. I see Black Spiders is in the house. Did I miss Scotty Vaughn? Make sure everybody hits that like,
Hmm.
that thumbs up. Circumstances. Marcus. Um, last I checked, you owe me a New Mutants 98. Is that correct?
He won it last night on at week's end.
Yeah, congratulations, Marcus. And
He
I
won
just
three
saw,
different copies: the original, the foil, and the reprint.
in all fairness, it was all worth just for that one book.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Everything that was one, but then you throw in that one book, and I was like, Mark. That was a great giveaway. All right, here's another book that's in the same pattern as our previous book, A Vicious
Hmm.
Circle #1. This came out back in 2022. Uh, what's interesting enough about this book, first of all, this book is gorgeous. It is
Yes,
a gorgeous, gorgeous book. Uh,
Liber Mayo. You cannot go wrong with Liber Mayo. I have this
exactly.
book actually, so
So do I. I have
mm,
this. This was a book that it's oversized, so that's the first
right,
issue, right? And which is part of its same problem,
right.
right? So you have this. It's $12 because the book is oversized. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
But and oversized books generally don't sell as much,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but it's Liber Mayo. It's him doing fantastic work. Him being experimental as well in his
Mm-hmm.
artwork. So that's something in that. And this series is not even over yet. So
Say number three hasn't even come. Number three is like coming out in like a couple weeks, I think, and
it's scheduled in August. Yeah,
yeah,
something like
and
that.
issue one came out in 2022, so that's how often it's coming out.
Yeah, because he's literally taking his
Yeah,
time on this book.
yep, yep.
And I feel like that's problematic because a full year?
Yeah, you totally destroy any momentum that the comic has had.
Mhm. But apparently Ryan Coogler's company is down with it. So
Hmm.
this is another one of these books that's getting an option, but it's not even finished. So I don't even know how this is gonna work. So
It's gonna be like Game of Thrones, where the series is gonna finish before the book series does,
exactly.
the TV series.
What's up, Joffrey Castro? Right. And I think for this one, yeah, because it's oversized, it's gonna cost a little bit more. But it's not finished, guys.
Hmm.
Let the story finish because it could have a tremendous beginning,
Hmm.
but completely fail at the end, right? And then no one cares about it anymore. Or it could be one of those situations that it does get an option, it does make a movie, and the movie is completely different from the comic book,
Hmm.
which happens quite frequently. But
Right.
go check that out if you find it. All right, now we got some Bronze Age goodness,
Yeah.
right? What years is Bronze Age again?
Bronze Age is 1970 to 1985, I believe. Green Lantern and Green Arrow number 76 to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Ha!
Yeah, there you go. So we got here Marvel Premiere issue 28. This is the first team appearance of the Legion of Monsters, Ghost Rider, Man Thing, Morbius, Werewolf by Night. This book, I've been seeing this book a lot. And yes, Digger Jim wants to let the whole world know that he has a copy and it's not a reprint.
Hmm.
Or is it? We'll find out in a second. So what's your thoughts on this book getting into this list? Because I see this book every so often. Everybody keeps talking about this book. But what's the significance of this book?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't, other than, I mean, there's a notes there. It's got the first appearance of everything. It's a part of the Marvel universe that has only been tapped into once, and that's with the Werewolf by Night special that they did. Um,
Mhm.
uh, Although Morbius is in it too, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna count that. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know why suddenly it's popping. To me, it doesn't really
Yeah.
make any sense.
The only thing I could think of is the Agatha All Along just came out.
Mm,
Literally came out today. The trailer. Did you get a
right.
chance to see it?
Not yet.
It's interesting, to
Yeah.
say the least. It. I had no desire to see this show until I saw this trailer, and this trailer kind of went. I ended up going like, "Oh, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty interesting." So I'm definitely checking it out, seeing how it is. But I have a feeling that this is related to that because you got monsters and stuff, and with the
Right.
Agatha series, it's an easy way for them to make a show and not worry so much about the rights to these characters
Yeah.
because no one cares about Agatha. In all fairness, in the comic book industry, no one cares.
Right.
You know.
Although, I mean, I think a lot of people who may not necessarily be Marvel aficionados
Mhm.
may think that this is just a continuation of the, Scarlet Witch and
WandaVision.
the Vision,
Yeah.
WandaVision series because that's where she started, and you know, it kind of tied her to that
Mhm.
universe or whatever. So,
Yeah, and in the trailer there is a scene that does mention Wanda Maximoff. So
mhm,
they are touching the WandaVision side of things of where it happens. So that's a possibility for this book, why this book is getting some kind of momentum. But overall, it's a solid book. It's a
mhm,
fun cover when you really look at it. It's like you have a road and they're just
mhm.
off the road. So here's another book, and now I do understand why this book is on this list, and that's the Terrifics #1. This book came out back in 2018 from DC Comics. What can you tell me, Paul, about this book?
Well, this was, I believe, this was Ivan Rice, I believe, did the art on this.
Mhm,
But basically, it says right here, James Gunn did tweet out this cover at one point.
mhm,
And if you look at some of the set pictures that they have shown from Superman, although it shows, Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl, it also does show Metamorpho, and we know that Mr. Terrific is
mhm.
there as well.
Yeah.
And the costumes for Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl do kind of mirror the Terrifics costumes. So could
Yes.
he be bringing in the Terrifics? I personally think it's going to be kind of a mashup of Justice
Mhm.
League International and Terrifics
Yeah,
because Justice
because
League International has the
mhm,
name recognition,
mhm.
but the Terrific was kind of fun.
But at the same time, when you look at the image of Guy Gardner, you see in his chest, instead of being a Green Lantern logo, which it probably should have been,
Right,
it says JL, like
right,
Justice League.
right.
So that's the connection. And even though we didn't see Metamorpho, there's a green screen
Hey,
man
there's
in
plenty
the
of shots
image.
of a guy dressed entirely in green. Absolutely.
Yeah, which should be Metamorpho. Also, there's scenes with like a squirrel, which could be
Mhm.
Nort.
Right.
So who
Yeah.
knows? All right. Who knows what we get there? But this is a book I'm actually hunting myself. I have not seen it in the wild, which I'm
Ooh,
trying to find it.
there. It's a good book. It is a really good book.
Yeah, it's a good book. It came out in an interesting time period. We got
Mhm.
Dirks in the house. What's up, my legend?
Hey.
So
Yeah.
and this is a book that I personally want to get it. I don't want to pay $18. I want to pay no more than 10 for this book. I
Mhm.
feel like, now it's back on the list, but it's a book that I kind of want to have eventually. So just to have it. All right. Oh, now this is a good book.
Mhm.
This is a beautiful book. Um, this is a book where I have to say,
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Sandman 19. This came out back in 1990. Talk to me. What do you know about this book and the significance of this book?
Well, this is basically this was actually, it says DC Vertigo. This was actually before
Yeah, prior.
Sandman became a Vertigo proper title because Vertigo didn't exist at this point.
Mhm,
Sandman started in DC and then kind of migrated and kind of became the standard bearer of Vertigo when they
mhm.
created Vertigo.
Yeah.
Um, but it is basically it is Shakespeare, and it is how Morpheus basically Orpheus or kind of helped William Shakespeare kind of create the whole Midsummer's Night Dream and everything. So,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, when you're talking about Sandman, the Lord of Dreams, and Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, it's like it seems to be a no-brainer, but
Hmm.
Neil Gaiman pulled it off
Yeah.
so well.
I agree. And this story is what a lot of people don't know about this story. This story is an award-winning story.
Yes. Yep.
So this story won. I forgot the name of the award that it won, but it was awarded an award that never went to a comic book before,
Right.
right? And I remember the significant. Now I find it so odd that this book is not a higher volume, like it's not more expensive for $8, for a tag price of $8. I'm a little shocked by that.
Right.
I would figure that this book would be worth more because the print run wasn't as high as the other books was.
It won the World Fantasy Award for Best Short Story.
Yes, and no comic book ever won that
Correct.
award prior. So it was a pure literature story piece, and it's a great story. It's an amazing story of Shakespeare,
Hmm.
and there's all Shakespeare continuously comes back in the Sandman universe,
Hmm. Yeah.
where I think we first meet him in issue 9, I want to say,
I'd have
something
to go
like that.
back.
In one
Yeah.
of the earlier issues, it's the same issue where we meet Sandman's best friend,
Hmm.
right? I don't remember the
Yeah.
names, but the gentleman that he keeps meeting every 100 years,
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
and there's Shakespeare like in the backside, and Morpheus is like, "Give me a second." He goes talks to Shakespeare, and then this kind of like continues that story, and that's the thread of Sandman. Is like everything, all the Easter eggs are there
Hmm.
in previous editions, and then you'll see them again as it goes. But the reason why this book is here is because not so much because of Midsummer Night's Dreams, which is a fantastic story, but because they hired an actor to play Puck, who's the narrator
Hmm.
of this story, who's going to be played by Jack Leeson. Also, he was the kid. A lot of people don't know this. He
Yep.
was the same kid in Batman.
Hmm.
In the not in Batman Begins, it was that one kid in
Hmm.
Arkham area, and he's also obviously from Game of Thrones. So he's going to be in this, and he was hired. So therefore, we are definitely getting the story in the Netflix show, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, and for the Sandman, I mean, if you're looking for Sandman keys, almost every issue from like 20 on down
Hmm.
is a key for because he either introduces another person of the Endless, or
Hmm.
because he introduces Mervyn Pumpkinhead or wherever it happened
Yeah,
to be. It's like almost every single issue, Neil Gaiman introduces a new character to the mythos.
yeah, and with the exception of issue 1 and issue 8, which is the first appearance of Death,
Mhm.
they're not that expensive.
No, not at all.
The quality of the paper is hard because it was a poor quality paper, so it's
Right.
hard to get high grades of these. But they're you could pretty much get a full run of Sandman and not break the bank for it. So,
Hmm.
mhm. All right, here's another one that kind of stood out like kind of strangely to me, but
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Terminator #1. This is the first appearance of Terminator in a comic book from Now Comics back in 1988. What's to say about the Terminator that we haven't seen before?
Exactly. And he only picked it because of the success of. I mean, I'm reading it here. He only
Yeah,
picked it because of the success of other properties.
hmm yeah, because we have seen the Predator return. We have seen
Mhm.
Aliens. Romulus looks amazing, which
Right.
is coming out at sometime in August.
Although, however,
Terminator will eventually come back in some format.
Terminator is coming to Netflix
Mhm.
as an anime series, I believe.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Hmm. So
Because
we have that going on.
right.
So I'm very interested to see where this goes. A $12 book for the first appearance of the Terminator is also super cheap,
Mm.
right? So to say you have the first appearance of the Terminator in a comic book is a little it's and you got it for under $15. I think that's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
Even
I
though
love.
this image of Terminator is like super clean.
Yeah. I
And you
love.
were saying?
I love going back and looking at all these, especially these intellectual properties that are, that are licensed to them.
Mhm.
A lot of the really early ones are published by companies you've never ever heard of. Like this one says it's by Now Publishing.
Yeah, I remember now back in the day.
You know,
The paper was good though. It was
yeah.
good. It was like magazine quality paper. I remember that.
But that's how, because they couldn't compete necessarily with DC and Marvel of creating of having the
Mhm.
characters, they would go after these intellectual properties instead and
Yeah.
license them and print them instead.
Yeah, the best one has got to have been Dark Horse back in the day.
Hmm.
Dark Horse was so good at doing that.
Hmm.
But now, now was a little different, but Dark Horse was so much better at it. All right, here's another book. This is a book that I actually have. I was looking at it right now. I have a pretty banged up copy, but it's Uncanny X-Men 213. This features the first cameo appearance of Mr. Sinister. Also, Betsy Braddock becomes Psylocke in this story. It's a multi-key book,
Hmm.
and let's face it, that is one awesome Alan Davis cover of Sabretooth and Wolverine. I absolutely love this cover.
Yeah, you'd almost like with seeing the last trailer from Deadpool and Wolverine, it
Mhm.
almost could just be a key just for that cover.
Yeah, and and it's interesting because there's another book that was on this list a few months ago, which is not on this list, which is the severed head of
Mhm.
Sabretooth, which we know is going to happen because they leaked those images. So, what's your thoughts on this book in particular?
I be honest with you, I was not an X Men. I did not follow X Men during
Mhm.
this time, but I certainly know the character Mister Sinister, and I certainly know the character Psylocke. So,
Mhm.
um, for someone who hasn't didn't really follow X Men,
Yeah.
they've got to be key issues if they have characters that I at least have heard of. So,
Yeah, and this is part of the Mutant Massacre, which is an amazing story with the Morlocks, and it gets brought back later on in the 90s with Gambit being a part of it
mhm.
and things like that. But this one is an awesome book. I believe the interiors are done by Mark Silvestri, if I'm not mistaken, but the cover's done by Alan Davis. So just
Mhm.
imagine that. So it's an amazing book. And speaking of amazing, we got Geek Out with Roscoe in the house. We'll talk a little bit later about what Roscoe's going to be doing with us um, while you take a break, right? we now go back. We go bi-weekly,
Yep.
opposites each
Mhm.
other. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get there with some fighting. All right, going sticking to the X-Men. We're going with Uncanny X-Men 150. This is the origin of Magneto. Came
I've
out
heard of
way
him.
back. Yeah, some guy, no, well, Magneto's German. Am I not mistaken? Right? He's
Yes.
Jewish background. Yeah, Jewish. Yeah,
Mhm.
I was trying to remember. Is he Jewish? But he is.
Yeah.
Concentration camps. Duh. That's one of those moments for me, right?
Yeah.
Where I just get dumb. So it just happens. So all right. Cool cover, lots of colors. Another fairly cheap book.
Yeah. I can say for the origin of the X Men's number one villain, you would think that it would be more expensive than that.
It's because of the print run.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was. I mean, obviously, one thing that keeps the price down is when it was published. So it
Mhm.
was in the early '80s, which is when they were printing 500,000 copies of X Men books.
Yeah, X-Men in the 80s and 90s were the top selling books
Hmm.
throughout the time period. It's like they outperformed everybody. If
Hmm.
outperformed Batman, outperformed Spider-Man. No one cared for the Avengers at this time.
Hmm.
No one cared. X-Men were the key. Those were the books you wanted to get. Those were the books. Chris Claremont killed it.
Hmm.
Whoever he was working with was amazing. So, you have his run with John Byrne, then Paul
Say,
Smith.
was this John Byrne? Was this a John Byrne era? Do you know?
So, is this a John Byrne era? We can find out right now. Let's take a look. So, is this a John Byrne? It's a Dave Crockham era, actually.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. That's pretty cool. So let's get back here. It's Dave Crockham. So Dave Crockett era. So obviously everybody talks about the John Byrne,
Hmm.
Chris Claremont era, and unfortunately they don't like each other.
Right.
Don't talk to them about
Al-
each other.
Although they did do one more thing after X-Men together, and funny enough, it was actually a Justice League of America story that they
That's
did.
right, they did. I remember, and it was like they made this whole thing about back together.
Right.
Yeah, I remember. I actually do remember that time. It wasn't that successful. Everybody wanted it to
No.
be.
No.
Yeah. Here's another book that's in the Deadpool world
Mhm.
that a lot of people are trying to pick up, probably because they can't get 98. X Force #2 is pretty cheap as well. But this is one of those books that I would say it's his first solo series. So that's one thing that makes it a key significance. But the other thing about this book is this is the start of when we are getting the Deadpool that we know and love today. Because
Mhm.
before that, he was a merc with a mouth, but he wasn't a fourth wall breaker. This was one of those books that kind of started that era of Deadpool.
Right. So this is this Joe Kelly?
Joe Kelly and I think Steven Scross or Joe Mangarella. Oh no, not even. It's Fabian.
Oh, okay.
Look,
Because
Fabian
Joe
Nicias
Kelly
and
was the one who really kind of literally
yeah,
pushed it through the wall.
Joe Kelly. Yeah, Joe Kelly's run. That I do remember. It was a gatefold cover,
Mhm.
wrap around. So that's another good one here. So really good. To be fair, John. Only
Right.
like
John Byrne never met a mirror he didn't like.
that is also true, and he's Canadian, which makes it even more weirder. He's like the one Canadian that's not like a Canadian,
Mhm.
right? Because all Canadians are nice people, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Right? I know a few of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but there you have it. There's your Deadpool love.
All
All right.
righty.
Okay. There's some controversy here. All right. Let's first talk about the book X Men 11 back in 1992. This is an iconic Jim Lee book.
Hmm.
Why is it a key? Only because of that cover.
Hmm. Right.
This is also I do believe this marks Jim Lee's final X-Men book.
Oh, okay.
'Cause he will later return with the Heroes Reborn, but
Hmm.
when it comes to X-Men proper, this is the end.
Okay.
Right? So this is the last one. I've seen this as a t-shirt for Target everywhere.
Hmm.
So all right, but I think what we need to talk more about is Jim Lee goodness. So, did you hear the news of Jim Lee's commission list?
Um, I have not heard. I've heard over the past week. I've seen stories by Gail Simone who talked about what he did, and there was another person who did who stood in line waiting for him to do a commission. But I don't think you're referring to those. So please go ahead.
No. So it turns out earlier this week or earlier last week actually, Jim Lee put
Oh,
out his commission list.
is that how much it costs? Is that what you're going to go
Yes,
into? Okay, I
the
didn't see that. Yeah,
pricing.
yeah.
And from what I understand, an 11 by 17 original piece, inked by Jim Lee as well as pencil, of course, will range up to $30,000.
Hmm.
All right. Now, this has gotten so many people upset. It's like, why is he charging so much money? My answer to that is shut up. It's Jim Lee and he could charge whatever the hell he wants.
Right.
Enough said. You know what I
Why
mean?
why do people pay $30,000 for a crystal egg? It's like, you know what? People are going to buy what they want to buy. And you know
But
what?
you got
If you want it to stop, you basically just don't buy anything from him and he sits there and doesn't draw anything and makes no money and then he loses prices.
yeah, but to say that, you know, you're gonna dictate how much the guy wants to sell his artwork. This
Yeah,
is this is by far one of the top 3 artists of the 90s. He may be
absolutely.
in some cases he's considered the number one artist of the 90s, right?
Mhm.
Because you got Todd McFarlane, you got Jim Lee, you got Rob Liefeld, and you could even throw in Mark Silvestri in that mix, right?
Mhm.
These guys changed the business in the 90s.
Mhm.
Jim Lee artwork is iconic. The minute you see a Jim Lee piece, you know it's a Jim Lee piece, no matter what he draws, right? And to say that a simple sketch is gonna go for $1,000, just a simple sketch, $1,000. Is it enough to say, you know what, screw it?
Right.
You know, It doesn't matter if you don't want to pay. You don't have to pay it,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Second friend of this book.
He should be able to
Yes.
charge. Like I said, he should be able to charge whatever he wants,
Mhm.
and people will buy it or not, and he'll set the price based on. I mean, it's called the fair market. It's
Yeah. And to AR, yeah, tell him you've been a legend for 30 years. You can run your mouth.
plus
you know.
plus it is art. I mean, it is art. It is not just a comic panel. It is art.
Mhm.
What he does.
Yeah, C Bizzle's in the house. What is this? I'm not kidding. What?
It's a silver background, rare book.
Oh, he's talking about that. But here's the thing. I'm very fortunate enough to have original Jim Lee art
Hmm.
on a sketchbook. He did a Jubilee for us. I can show it someday. I will show it to you guys someday. And it was free. It didn't cost me a dime, right? If I wanted to, I could sell that piece and I could easily make about $1,000 for it,
Hmm.
easily, right? Because it's Jim Lee, right? You have fine art, as they call it, selling well over $30,000, and it's just a piece of crap in comparison. You could get a picture of Jim Lee drawing Wolverine for $30,000, and if you have that kind of money, more power to you.
Hmm.
You know, I know. There's some people in the chat here that are collectors of sketchbooks and sketch art. I know Beckerman's one of them. He has a lot of good original art.
Hmm.
Beckerman, if you're still listening, is $30,000, and I'm not saying is it worth it for you, but is it worth it? And yeah, I've been charging one.
That's right, DBA. But you charge whatever you want, whatever you
Yeah,
want. You have a
and
right to
look at
charge
this.
whatever you want.
I'm an art critic, dude. I'm also an artist, so I get it. You do what you want, man. It's Jim freaking Lee. He
Hmm.
does what he wants. You don't want to buy it, you don't have to buy it. But
Right. And I mean, comparatively, right? You get Jim Lee, who takes however long it takes for him to do an art piece like that, right? And but then you also have people who are basically charging $100 to write their two initials on a comic book.
yeah.
you know,
Oh, but if it's CGC, it's going to cost more because if you're going to get it
right?
witnessed. So whatever. Let him be.
Hmm.
He got it like that. He's made it. He made it so that he could do that. Would you do that for Alex Ross piece? Would you
Oh
pay
yeah.
$30,000 for Alex Ross painting?
Hmm.
What's the difference? You know what I mean? Just people are petty. Not me. All right, we got our next book here is Transformers #1. Back in 1984. It's back on the list again. Transformers are still hot, man. They're still hot. They haven't died out, did they?
The Energon universe is still going strong.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Streak, die! I'm stuck! I can't transform! Ow! Thanks!
Alex Ross is $100 a piece. He's an illustrator, and yeah, he said it. All right, so this again, it's all because of the Energon universe. It's still hot. Um, Another book that I would like to have in my collection one day.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, if you had the original piece of this artwork, would it be worth $30,000?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
It's a Bill Sienkiewicz. I'm not feeling the way he drew Optimus though. Like his arms are like short,
Hmm.
but Bill Sienkiewicz does a lot of illustration work.
Yeah.
And his pieces go for that high as well.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to own a piece of his. I mean, the covers that he did um, for the Shadow, and what he did
Mhm.
for the Question, and he did
Mhm.
for Moon Knight. A lot of the.
Yeah.
I would love to own some of those.
Yeah. And people are liking the new Transformers 1 trailer.
Mhm.
I have to watch it to know for sure how I feel about it. I'm not sold on it yet. Doesn't feel right to me. But again, that's me. Sienkiewicz over Ross, Ross over Lee.
I don't know about
Eh?
that, TW, but everyone's got their own opinions.
Mhm.
And I love Sienkiewicz, but I would take Alex Ross over Bill
Mhm.
Sienkiewicz. But I love
I
both.
like them both. I
Yeah.
can't argue either. I have a painting of Alex Ross hung here, so I'm not, and I love Sienkiewicz, man.
Yeah,
This thing.
absolutely.
All right. Next book in our list is Batman 125. This book came out just a few years ago, back in
Mhm.
2022. Uh, I'm definitely certain you know this book.
Oh yeah,
What What's
absolutely.
the point of this book?
It's the first.
125.
It's the first appearance of Failsafe. For those of you who don't know who Failsafe is, um, Failsafe is basically a um, a, a robot or whatever that Zur-En-Arch created in case Batman ever killed someone.
Yeah,
Um, so Failsafe was then programmed to go out and capture Batman. Um, Things went kind of off the rails,
of
as they
course.
tend to do with Zur-En-Arch. And right now, Failsafe is a huge part of Absolute Power. Because he actually has helped create, as part of the Batman Failsafe story, he went out to different multiverses and he downloaded the Zur-En-Arch from the different multiverses into these Amazo robots. And so now there's 7 of them called Task Force 7. Each one is inhabited by a different Zur-En-Arch personality from a different multiverse, and now they're out attacking all of the heroes of the world and taking their powers.
Wow. Sometimes
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Exactly.
you just can't get rid of
I
it, right?
I love that movie. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I
Oh,
love that
it's a
movie.
that's a classic, man. I love that movie.
Mhm.
I watch that movie at least once a year.
Oh yeah.
At least once a year, I watch that movie. All right. Okay, our next book here is again. We have a book here from the Energon universe. We got Scarlet #1,
Mhm.
$5 book. Anything important to say about this?
Not a big outside of Transformers and GI Joe proper. I'm not a big like Destro or Scarlet. I'm not. I don't necessarily collect all the other ancillary titles. Just kind
No.
of the main ones. Void Rivals, Transformers, GI Joe.
Yeah, I think this one introduces us back to Storm Shadow. Comes out in this book, so that's probably the significance. You can see the icon, which is Snake Eyes icon, which is part of the clan that they're part of.
Mhm.
So obviously, it looks like we're gonna see Snake Eyes make his appearance sooner or later. Looks like with Scarlet. I know I picked up the first issue, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But it's all signs are pointing to we're gonna get Snake Eyes. He's
Mhm.
coming, and then eventually we'll get a GI Joe book, which I'm
November,
looking forward to. Yeah. So.
November, bringing all those miniseries together into one. And
Mhm. Yep. All right, our next book, we got some good Silver Age book here. Fantastic 457, guys. No need to apologize, Cap.
hmm,
Comic Cap Collectibles in the house. He's telling me sorry. There's no need to
hmm.
apologize. We're all good here. All right. All right. Or unless he's saying sorry for one of the books he pressed. I got me thinking.
Yeah. If he comes back and says, "Never mind, Izzy," then you know that you're right with the book.
I did
Right.
see the video of the Amazing Spider-Man 316. I did see that he did the work on it. Did something happen? I hope not. All right.
This should be the perfect time to play the. I mean, you probably don't have it, but to play the Homer Simpson kind of folding back into the.
Oh,
That would be
oh
Comic
my
Cat
god.
Collectibles.
This sucks more than anything that hath ever sucked before.
All right, Fantastic 457. This is just an iconic Jack Kirby Doctor Doom cover with the Fantastic Four with Silver Surfer in it. Uh not real not anything key when it comes to the significance of this book as of right now to why it's hot. But what I will say is that with the Fantastic Four movie on the horizon scheduled for next year, we've gotten word about a whole bunch of things except for Doom.
Right.
So are we going to get okay, if you were in this movie, would you put Doom in this movie? Or would you let him sit and wait?
I would, if it were me, and this is why I'm not running Marvel Studios, But if it were me, I would replace Kang as the big bad of the next of Phase 5 and make it Doctor Doom.
And I think that's a lot of people are saying that. You see, wait up. How did you know? I know. Gets his own. Batman told me you said that. I'm just looking at this. Run that blooper reel. Cameo Doom. I think what they're gonna do, and they've had discussed this already, is that we're supposed to get different different villains within this movie.
Mhm.
So I think we're gonna see Mole Man. We're gonna see, the what is it, the Man Thinker, things like that. Kind of like we're gonna establish a Fantastic Four universe
Mhm.
in which we will eventually get Doom as part of it. And I'm with you. I think it's hard to have Secret Wars without Doctor Doom attached to it. But how do we get rid of the whole Kang of it all? They kind of took care of it in a way, but it doesn't feel like it's finalized.
Right.
So it needs to get finalized before we could get Doom as a major villain. And I think Doom is easily top tier villain. If there's a guy that's going to match, with Thanos in that level, it's going to be Doctor Doom. He's considered to be the greatest villain of the Marvel universe. So, and DC Doom's going to replace the Maker. Oh, maybe we will get the Maker. Right. Our next book here is Wolverine number 10. This is another classic Sabretooth Wolverine fight scene. This is the first time Sabretooth appears in a Wolverine title. Another cool cover. I love this cover. This is one of my favorite covers too.
Because he appeared first in Iron Fist, right?
Yes, he made his first appearance in Iron Fist 15, I believe it is, written by Chris Claremont. So therefore, that's why you see the connections there. I'll sell you a Durant. It really is a Durant with that jacket. It's a hungry like a wolf. You know what I'm saying? Hungry like a Sabretooth. I wish I had I'll sell you nerds this Wolverine book too. All right. Hit me up. I have Deadpool starter pack for sale. How much, TW? How much, TW? All right. And it's a Sabretooth. All right. But another cool book, another great book. I really like this book a lot. All I got to say is, yeah, because it's happening. It's going to happen. I can't wait to see that fight scene. All right. And speaking of which, it wasn't 15, it was 14.
There you go.
First appearance of Sabretooth. All right. Now that we're on the Sabretooth discussion, what is your take on Tyler Mane returning to the role?
I'm okay. It seems as though the majority of characters in this movie are going to be Marvel characters that have appeared in either the Fox universe or probably the Fox universe, because that's where all the X-Men were and everything over there. So, or the Spider-Man universe. So with Sony.
But we're not getting a Lev Schreiber. What, Leaf Schreiber?
Leaf Schreiber.
Leaf Schreiber. Right. Apparently we're not going to get, or maybe we will, because they're trying to keep things hush hush, so we don't even know what's going to happen. Right. There's a KC collector who knows. Has a stack of them. Ooh.
Wow.
I would like that book. I would like this book a little bit more though. So give me an Iron Fist 14 any day. I'll take it. All right. Our next book is, speaking of circumstances, Grommets number 2. This is the 1 in 10 variant. This is hot. This book is hot. It's just hot. I don't know anything about Grommets. I'm sure Marcus could tell us.
Tell us why it's hot, Marcus.
What's the deal with Grommets? But, and there you go. I hate you after last night's win. Tell me. All I could say with that cover, when I look at that cover, I just think to myself,
she will be mine. Oh, yes. She will be mine.
If someone had come to me and said, there's this comic called Grommets, I would have thought it was like a Muppets.
Yeah, comic. I agree. Marcus deserves the win.
He does. He's a good guy.
Marcus is a good guy. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just the first issue was on the list. The second issue is now on the list. Okay, right. It's about 80s skater culture.
Okay.
All right, so, and it's a nostalgic win. Okay,
Mhm.
Mm. And okay. See,
McReynolds
he
is
just
writing.
keeps
Okay.
that right.
There
Yeah,
you go.
and
There you go.
Beckerman's buddy Alex. Oh, good for you guys. All right, here's another book here, Detective Comics 1086. This book came out 2 weeks, I want to say, or did it come out last week? It's relatively new,
2
but
weeks ago.
it features a interesting cover of Batman with a whole bunch of makeup,
Mhm.
none other done by
Sebastian Fiumara.
exactly. So, would you pay $30,000 for this cover?
No, but it is a nice cover. I
It
wish
is a nice cover.
I wish my LCS I had it.
Yeah, cool. $35 high. I would give it time. It'll probably drop
Mhm.
within time. It's just hot right now. Mhm. And then here's another book that's on this. This must look awesome in black light.
Mhm.
Action Comics 1066, the Mark Spears 1 in 25 Lobo variant. Lobo, there's discussions again of Lobo's appearing now in the Supergirl movie.
Yeah, with Jason Momoa
Mhm.
again.
Still
Deep
being
in the
rumored,
rumors.
right?
Yeah,
So
this is part of the House of Brainiac
Mhm.
storyline.
yeah. And that's what that gives me. So and then we have here our final book from this list, and that's Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, issue 0. This was the surprise variant that was one per store. Some
Mhm.
stores receive 2 copies because you have to, if you have a lunar and a
Right.
penguin,
Mhm.
you'll get from each of them. Mark Spector is coming back. He's coming back already. They already
Mhm.
said, they announced that he's going to be part of the Blood Hunt story. You
They're
just can't keep a
gonna
Moon
be
Knight
a
down.
big throwdown between the two of them, right?
Apparently so. So I like this cover. I think it's a really cool cover. $40 for it now. So interesting. So there you have it, guys. Those are your books for this week. Those are the trending books, man. It's a good list. I
Yeah.
like it. It's a good mix of old and new to it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's good stuff going on there. Anyway, with that said, you want to take a look at what's in the top 10 because as I mentioned
Sure.
before, there's an interesting number 1. So
Sure.
let's take a look at it. And what do you thought about that number 1?
Wow. Um, yeah, and I think I mean, I don't own it because I wasn't an X-Men guy then, but I think probably if you were an X guy, you probably are. Hey, you probably have that book.
At least 5 copies of it, at
Right.
least, because you had to get the card for it.
Right.
I looked at that list and when I saw that as number 1, I just went, "Why is this number 1?"
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like I get the other books, but how did X Force number 1 made it to a list? It's a book that's literally millions of copies are out there. Literally,
Mhm.
there are millions of copies out there. Obviously, they're you want to get the one with the Deadpool card because that's technically his second appearance.
Mhm.
Um, but to be in the top 10 list, that shocked me when I saw that. I was like, all right. But there are some other good books there. It's like the Spider-Man Reign with the
Mhm.
Black Cat variant. That's a pretty cool book that I saw there. And of course, some books that are carryovers from the week before that are still hot. But we saw the Terrifics there. That the Gromics book was also there, so it's a lot of good stuff there. Um, just to remind everybody, if you just joined us earlier, I revealed what is part of the July giveaway. As I told everybody, I have a lot of books to give out, but
Definitely.
I'm gonna be doing a Deadpool sketch. We'll have a couple variants. We got the Ivan Tao is gonna be part of it, as well as a 9.6 Deadpool Wolverine. That's all part of the month's giveaway. So if you're a channel member, that as well as a whole bunch of signed books as well. So this is the big stack so far. So all you have to do is be part of Izzy's Rat Pack. It starts as low as 99 cents, everybody. But good stuff, man. Anyway, coming this Wednesday, we got a fight. So
looks like Phil's been hanging out at Hyde Street.
you know what I'm saying, man? So we got Geek Out with Roscoe versus Phil's Treehouse. That's happening this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Heroes time. The battle between the lines is happening, and just to let everybody know, card is subject to change because you never know what could happen, right? But I'm looking forward to this battle. What about you? What's your thoughts about this battle?
Do you have any insight as to how the vote is?
In fact, I do. So last I checked, there was 36 votes in. So let's take a look at what we have now. Now, what's very interesting is I could share it via my phone, but I can't share it via the. I'm unable to share it via the computer, which I think is so weird. But as of right now, we have 38 votes, and right now there is a strong leader.
Okay.
So there's obviously 5 questions for the third round. What topics are? It's the most overrated character, best adaptation that can include movie or TV, most iconic comic book cover, which I personally like that one. Best writer artist. We talked a little bit about one, John Byrne, Chris Claremont. I know there's some other great ones out there. Best superhero costume. That's a tough one as well. So those are the choices. Right now we have 38 votes in. I would like to get it to 50 votes. If I could get 50 votes, it'll be a little easier. But right now we have a very strong leader out of the 5. So I'm gonna leave it quiet for now. Comment, I want to fight Cliff, but it has to be Marvel related. Well, the good news is that the way it works is that each opponent gets a topic. So they each get a round, and then the third round is selected by the fans, by the audience through the voting, and then we have a free-for-all that will be given through the live stream. So everybody will be able to ask questions, and we'll try to do a fight from there. The last fight that we have was between C Bizzle and Cliff. If you want to know who the winner is, go watch the video. But Paul, did you get a chance to watch the fight?
I saw the beginning of it. It's still in my queue, but I saw the beginning of it.
It gets crazy. It
Yeah.
definitely gets crazy. So go watch the fight. It's a lot of fun. It's getting a lot of hits. So a lot of people are watching it. So it does have a lot of views, and it was something I've been wanting to do for a while. I just had to wait for the computer to start running. So be on the lookout. It is this Wednesday, 9 p.m. The battle of Between the Lines. That's what we're gonna call this one. The battle between the lines. Also, as they're part of the Monday night lineup. So coming up right now, actually, Derek Kirk Kim. He's, I believe, the writer of The Last Mermaid. He's out with Scotty, so you can go check that out. You got last week's fighter in Cliff over and C Bizzle. They're at their show that's going to start at 8 o'clock. Between the Lines is going to happen at 8:35. They're going to welcome Derwin Robinson. And we got 22 at 9 and Couple Comics at 10 o'clock. So a lot of good stuff happening over with the Monday night lineup.
Strong Monday night lineup every week.
Yeah, Monday night lineup is always fun, man. Now, let's do our pull list. You ready for the pull list?
Sure.
Let's do this. All right. I went back to the PowerPoint because I couldn't take this whole going into League of Comics. So I decided to go back to the PowerPoint. I like it, but I added a little addition to this. In every single one of these, well, at least the three main tiers, I'm going to show you how many variants. I'm not going to show you the variants. I'm only going to show you cover 8. But I'm going to show you how many variants were created. And that's not the final number because I can never give you the final number because that's not included. DVH. He hasn't even looked at the list. All right. But this week, Marvel. I know you're you're a DC guy, but Marvel
this
has
is a
17...
huge week. It's a huge week for Marvel this week, though.
Yeah, it's a big week for Marvel.
X-Men is out, I think, right?
Yep, X-Men is out this week. So 17 titles. From those 17 titles, there are 86 variants. You got wait, there's one that's even worse. By percentage wise, it's worse. So let's take a look at what's in Marvel. Well, you said it best. You have X-Men #1 comes out this week.
From the ashes.
First from the ashes. It's a new beginning. It's the start of a new story. So this obviously there's going to be tons to purchase, right? So it's gonna. I'm sure it's going to have a higher print run than normal, so that you don't have to worry about it. Kid Venom, I think it might be the sleeper. So Kid Venom, this is his first series, right? So you might want to pick this up just for the potential spec value of it all. But I'm sure there's definitely some variants for that book. So that's one to look out for. Another book that's coming out is Giant Size Silver Surfer #1, Ultimates #2, and there's a spoiler cover for Ultimates #1. TVH, just kidding. Ultimates 2. Yeah. And C Bizzle just voted. Thank you, C Bizzle. So let me just do a refresh to see where we are there. Okay. So, and then you have the Ultimates #2. We also have Amazing Spider-Man 53, some more Green Goblin. Get barely past Cat. Daredevil 11, The Avengers 16, Spider-Boy 9. I think Spider-Boy 9 should be a fun one as well because if you look at this cover, there's a certain version of Spider-Man that I think many people love. And you got the Japanese Spider-Man from the TV series. So I might pick this one up just for that book. Just for him, because I love that character. All right. Also, a book that I've been picking up, and that's Get Fury. That's the Punisher and Nick Fury in Vietnam, where the Punisher has been sent to save Fury. So this is kind of like a Saving Private Ryan type of story, but it features the writings of Garth Ennis. So Garth Ennis on a Punisher / Fury book, you can't really go wrong with that. It's definitely worth pickup. Ghost Rider Final Vengeance #5 is out this week. Symbiote Spider-Man 2099. Annihilation 2099 issue #2. Apparently this is a weekly series, it looks like. But it's going to be feature Star-Lord and Quasar 2099.
The new Star-Lord, right? The 2099 Star-Lord.
Yep. 2099 Star-Lord and 2099 Quasar. So these books have some spec potential to it because they are going to be considered keys as well. So there's definitely 2099 keys. Also, you got if you want your Blood Hunt books, you got Union Jack the Ripper Blood Hunt issue #3. I'm not gonna lie, I love that Incredible Hulk cover. Incredible Hulk Blood Hunt #1 and Wolverine Blood Hunt 3. Now with Wolverine Blood Hunt 3, there is a 1 in 25 variant that you might want to pick up if you guys are into the variants, because it is also an homage to an EC cover, which the other books have been hot. So you might consider that one out of all of them. And then to end it off, you got X-Men Heir of Apocalypse. And finally, Star Wars Ahsoka #1. This book, it's retelling the story from the TV series.
That's why I'm not. I mean, I'm a Star Wars person, but I didn't get Obi-Wan. I didn't get Ahsoka. I started The Mandalorian, and then I dropped it because I'm like, you know what? I've already seen all the episodes. I don't need to have adaptations.
You know the story, right?
Yeah.
It's just an adaptation. And the only reason why they're hot is because of the covers.
Right.
So they'll probably next week we'll talk about one of the hot covers from Ahsoka. It'll probably end up in a trending list or something like that. All right. Now here's something you can talk about more, and that's the 11 titles for DC. And that's a lot for DC. DC has been going lower and lower lately, but there's some kid titles as well. but they're high on their variant game as well.
Mhm.
So they got 34 variants because, from my understanding, every title has 2 variants, right? At least another variant, right? Because they have like the card stock variant as well.
Yeah,
So
everyone
there's
should have
only
at least one variant for
at
each
least
title.
one variant. Okay. So let's take a look at what we got here. We got Absolute Power Task Force 7 issue number 1. What's the significance of this book?
Well, this is the first one. This is the team that Amanda Waller created with Failsafe. They basically are Mazo robots that are going out into the world. Again, each one is inhabited by a Zurana from from a different part of the multiverse,
Mhm.
and they each kind of like one of them has kind of like the S on his chest, one has a W, so they're each kind of uh, mirroring a hero, but there are some variants here. There are each Task Force 7 book, which runs bi-weekly for 7 issues. Each one has a like a mugshot variant that's
Mhm.
done by Scott Platt, I believe it is.
Yeah.
That looks really good. And then there's a foil variant for each one as well that has kind of
Mhm.
like a design type variant.
Yeah. Cool. And then we have from the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives. So they're retelling the story. So this is pretty much a reprint, but with
Nope,
the end result being
correct.
Robin living.
Correct. James
Starling.
DeMatteis. No, Jim
Oh,
Starling did the original, but
he did the original.
this is J.M. DeMatteis, I believe, or
Oh,
DeMatteis,
he's
however you say his
retelling the
name.
story?
He is basically retelling the story from where the point where Robin actually lives instead. So
Interesting. Yeah, because I remember they did the Robin Lives book. I remember that book
right,
came out not that long ago. But here's just a retelling of the full story.
and then it goes beyond the
Hmm.
story.
So it might be worth picking up. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
because although it starts with him dying or not dying and being saved, and then goes beyond and what happens after that.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Another book that's coming out this week is Primer Clashing Colors #1. That's generally a kid's book.
Yeah.
So that's targeted to a young audience. But another book that I'm looking forward to picking up is that Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age #2. So where did we last leave from the first issue? So this is the second issue.
Yeah, actually, we didn't really see a lot of Batman in the first issue. It was a lot more having to do with Catwoman in the first issue. Um, but we just kind of saw at the very end. We saw the Victorian Ra's al Ghul basically, and sorry, Talia al Ghul, and Batman kind of facing off at the very end.
Cool. Have you been enjoying it so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I love these. I love Elseworld stuff.
Yeah, the Elseworld stuff's always great. I love Gotham by Gaslight.
Mhm.
All right. Next book is Comics 1067. This is a starting point for people. So if
Correct.
you haven't, we have a new writer in Gail Simone, who's kind of controversial sometimes. Some people like her, some people don't. What's your takes? Because I'm looking at this very interesting S logo.
Yes, it's don't know a lot about the story actually, but it's Gail Simone, Eddie Barrows does the art.
Oh, that's good.
Um, so yeah, really looking forward to that. There also is a foil variant of this one as well. It is actually kind of a black and white. There's a black and white version of it. So definitely looking forward to it. They've been doing what they're calling the superstars, Superman superstars, where they've been doing 3 issue blocks for the entire year. So it
Mm,
started with Joshua Williamson. Sorry, it started with Jason Aaron. Then it moved to Joshua Williamson through House of Brainiac, and then
mhm.
they're going now. It's going to Gail Simone.
Awesome. Now, is there a reason why we're looking at the old logo? So this is one of the original logos from back
Yeah,
in. Is it
I'm not
set in
sure.
that era?
It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? It kind of has like a 40s noir type feeling to it. I don't know a lot about the story, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to pick up. But again, if you guys are looking for a pickup that's a start of a new story, Action Comics is where you go. We have Green Lantern 13, Batman and Robin issue 11, Batman 89 Echoes #3. They're going to Arkham in this series. That should be pretty cool. So that's worth checking out.
Yeah,
What's going on?
The Batman problem with Batman '89 is it really feels like it's been since 1989 since I released the last issue. It's
I
like
know, right?
there's
3
been
issues in, right?
so many. There's been such a delay on the Batman
Mhm.
'89 stuff.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Outsiders #9, Sinister Sons #6, and of course, Looney Tunes 279. That is the ultimate pick right there. Got to
There you
get your
go.
Looney Tunes. All right, so those are your DC books. Over at Image, we have also 11 titles, but 24 variants for those. Among them is The Domain #1. So this is from Chip Zdarsky. That's a book that's coming out this week. Also, Transformers #10. That's a cute little cover with RC in it. Geiger #4. A lot of people loving the Ghost Machine universe, especially someone by the name of Mark. Ice Cream Man issue #40 is also out this week. Ain't No Grave by Scotty Young, which has been getting critics are loving this book, and I know Durs is loving this book as well. Moon Man #3, Falling in Love on the Path to Hell #2, and Monolith #3. And then finally, you have The Whisperer Queen, A Black Sands Tale #3, Precious Metal 2, and Saint Mercy Godland #4. Any books from the Image world that you're interested in?
Oh, I'm just as in the Ghost Machine world as Mark is. It's like I bought some more over this weekend when they were when they were live on Whatnot.
Mhm.
Got some more of those issues, so I'm absolutely loving it. And then the Energon universe, so Transformers.
So from the Ghost Machine universe, which is the one that really stands out to you?
To me, I love Redcoat. I
Mhm.
absolutely love Redcoat. He's kind of an immortal by accident, and he kind of fumbles his way through history, and
Mhm.
he's. I mean, and they're bringing in, they've had Benedict Arnold, and they have young Einstein, and
Mhm.
they're going to have, lots of different historical characters in there in it
Yeah,
as well. So,
it's kind of like Vandal Savage, but in a different way, right?
yeah, exactly. If Randall Savage was basically drunk all the time and had no morals,
And which makes it more interesting because how could he be drunk as
yeah.
apparently he could get drunk, but he can't die.
Mm.
So not that kind of not that kind of healing factor, I guess. Or can he die? He
He
can
can die,
die.
but then he comes back to life afterwards.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then now we. So I was looking at this. So 7 titles for over at Dark Horse with 11 variants. Not too bad. 4 titles for IDW with
I'm looking at
15
Dynamite
variants.
actually.
I know. That's why I say there's one that really goes on. But then again, it's normal for them, right?
Exactly.
Boom Studios has 3 titles with 9 variants. So that's pretty. That seems like 3 titles, 3 variants per book, right? And then Dynamite only has 2 books, but from 34 variants from
You got
2
the
books.
you got the regular, you got the virgin, you got the black and white, you got the one that smells like bubble gum, you got the you got the foil, you name it. Dynamite has a cover for you.
I don't even know how they do this. Like, they must be losing money like crazy over these,
Mm.
right? So anyway, starting with Dark Horse, you have Kill All Immortals #1. That should be a pretty interesting book. From the World of Minor Threats, Barfly #1, Dawn Runner #4, Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures #7, and then you have Critical Role. They have 2 books. You have Vox Machina Origin #2 and the Tales of Exandria, Artjan, whatever, Artijan, I don't know, #4, and then finally Monsters Are My Business, and My Business Is Bloody #4. I love those. I love that title. So that's over at Dark Horse. Over at IDW, this was a big one. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 40th anniversary comic celebration. This is not the relaunch.
Right.
This is kind of like an annual or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's got
Um,
like an anthology of like a whole bunch of different short stories in it, I think, right?
So, and this one does have a lot of variants, so there's going to be plenty of variants for this.
Yeah.
It's probably worth picking up just to say that you have a pretty cool anniversary Turtles book, because they are going to do the relaunch that's coming up soon, which I'm super excited for how they're doing it and things like that. So we'll get to that in the future. Also, you got the Hunger in the Dust book #2, #1, Gothica Motor Mountain #4, My Little Pony Maritime Mysteries #2. Over at Boom Studios, you got Crocodile Black 3, Profane 2, and Armor Wars Good Apollo on Burning Star 4 Volume 2, issue #3.
Whoa, that's a lot of numbers.
Almost like Steiner math, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And from Dynamite, you can get 32 variants,
Oh, there you
34
go.
variants, and
And
they're
half of the variants are cosplay ones. That's why.
Red Solia, Empire of the Damned #4, and Vaporella Dark Reflections #2. If you don't like these 2 covers, You got 34 more to choose from.
That's
There
why
you
there's
have-
so many.
Yeah. And then finally, we have from Mad Cave, Gotcha Man, Galactor. Were you a fan of Gotcha Man?
I
Battle of the
have
Planet?
I have Gatchaman #1, and I have the Gatchaman Ken that they just did. I'm not getting the Galactor one, but yeah, I was a huge Gatchaman fan.
Yeah. Now, Chris Batista did some of the work on the book, which
Yep.
good friend of mine. I got to see the pencils; they are gorgeous.
hmm
So and I'm looking forward to it. I did pick up the last one, Morningstar #4, and Love Me a Romance Story #3. That's from Mad Cave. Mad Cave been killing it with their titles. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of good property titles too. A lot of good IP with them.
They have I think they have Flash Gordon is the next big one. I think that's coming out. I think that
Yeah,
Jeremy
they
Adams is
did it.
writing.
They did the Flash Gordon for Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah. Yep.
But all right, over at Titan Comics, you got Gun Honey Collision Course #3. Those Gun Honey books, man. Talk about steamy. You know what I mean? It's just one of those books that you look at it and you know someone's saying,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? So when I see Gun Honey, I just go like this. The Savage Sword of Conan #3. Another book that's pretty hot. I love that they keep it in that big format, so it's a lot of good artwork. Forgotten Ruins Wizards Cult #5, and we have over at American Mythology the Robotnik Stooges Saturday Morning Cartoons #1. I don't know what to say about that book other than
What the hell is even that?
I don't know what to think about that book. But you got Tom Holland's and not the Tom Holland.
I was gonna say I didn't know Spider-Man was actually that into Fright Night. But
Yeah. Fright Night #5, Rick and Morty 10th anniversary special #1. I feel like Rick and Morty are older than that. I don't know why.
Mm.
Right? Good Honey is good for lonely night. It's great. It is a great action book. But what kind of action are you talking about, DVH?
Mhm.
Just saying. All right. Rick and Morty 10th anniversary special and Cult of Lamb #2. And we have over at Vault, you have Eden Frost. No, this is not Eden Frost. My apologies. I missed that one. I forgot to write it down. It's Deathstalker, and it's done by Slash from Guns N' Roses. So he presents it. Issue #3, Beyond Rio, I believe this is issue #5. And then you have Freaker Than Normal #1 from Antarctic Press, as well as Dead Weights #4. And finally, Nexus Newspaper Strip, Volume 2, The Battle of Thun World #4 from Steve Rude. Zeniscope's Wonderland Return to Madness #1. Band of Bards, really good friends of the channel with Coins of Judas, The Gambler #2. And Black Box Comics Biomex #3. Wait. What we got here? Look, the boobs don't hurt, but they. So there you have it. Those are the books for this week. You got a lot of books that you're picking up this week. Do you think you have a good pull list?
Yeah, I got and I may jump in from the Rising from the Ashes. I may get X-Men #1. I'm actually looking forward to Uncanny. I think Uncanny is the one that Gail Simone is doing,
Yeah.
I believe. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm not going to get all 20 of the X books, just the main ones.
Yeah.
At least to start.
You see, I was raised in the 80s and 90s, so I'm a huge X-Men guy already. You kind of had to be back then, right? If you grew up in the comics because they were the #1 books. As far as books that I plan on picking up, obviously I'm going to pick up the X-Men book. I'm going to pick up Ultimates, Transformers. I will pick Kid Venom. There is a John Jeng variant of Kid Venom that looks really sweet. That's going to be a big times collectible. Get Fury is another book I plan on picking up, and I will pick up the X-Men Blank. Which reminds me, we got Larry Green Machine in the house, right? Uncanny's not coming up this week. Uncanny Up is coming in a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah.
But X-Men #1, I'm still picking it up. We got, I believe it's Scott Sumner's Juggernaut, Beast, Magnet, Psylocke, and Quentin. I forget what Quentin's Kid Omega.
Jed
So that's good.
McKay is writing it, right?
Yeah, Jet McKay's writing it. Ryan Stegman's doing the artwork.
Right. At least issue number 1.
At least, yeah, exactly. Right, Magneto's also part of the story as well, so that's worth checking out. And there are quite a few covers as well as retail exclusives and all
Right.
that fun stuff that goes along with it. I only plan on picking up cover A as well as the blank, so that is something that I'm thinking about doing. And since that's the case, I think we could make this all about the X-Men today. So today's giveaway will be an X-Men book. We could easily do an X-Men book for today's giveaway. You know what? I'm feeling good today. I think I'm gonna give away a sketch cover.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A sketch cover for an X-Men book. So let's get that giveaway ready to go. So with that said, all right. Today's hashtag is going to be X-Men Returns. If you win today, I'm only going for X-Men. Look at that. There's only just because of segment art. All right. Get that hashtag X-Men Returns for your chance to get an X-Men sketch cover. I will do a headshot for you guys. I'll do a nice little X-Men headshot if you win. So get those. Oh, look, there's a Sector 2815. He's trying to get his piece in there.
Why not?
We got 8 entries going on out of 16 people, so it's half and half right there. But while we're waiting for people to put their hashtags, Paul, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
So this week is actually an off week for
So we got the fights
Get
going
That
on.
Key. So make sure the fights go on at 9. I go on every other week at 9:30. So make sure you're there at 9 o'clock to see the fights. I just dropped along with Mark. We had our DC Comics deep dive. Absolute Power has started. It is here. It's been building and building and building and boiling and bubbling for like 2 years now, and it's finally here. First issue came out last week. We also are working up to very soon. We will have our 100th episode, and we will be having a special live episode. There will be a massive, and I mean a massive, giveaway on that show. So make sure you're watching that for more info on that. And then every Sunday night, you can find me on at Week's End.
Or in every other stream.
Correctly. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna need to rest for a couple weeks after doing like 3 or 4 days in a row.
I know, right? First of all, thanks so much for that.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, we got 12 entries in out of 16 people that are currently watching the live stream. Should we run it?
Yeah.
Let's find out who wins. Okay, should be a fun one. Let's take a look at the winner. Is going to be Black Spiders. This is local.
There you go.
So Black Spiders, you are winning your X-Men book. All right. I don't have to give it to him till like 3 years from now, so I'm not worried about that. So
he knows where you live.
He actually does know where I live. He's more than just a friend in the channel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Black Spider is the winner of the X-Men book. Guys, don't forget, you do have a chance to win the Rat Pack July giveaway. If you are a member already, you have a chance. I'm going to go ahead and show everything once again so you guys can see it. So let me turn off the green screen one more time. So for those of you who haven't seen it, so all you have to do is be a Rat Pack member, and you could win all these fun goodies that I'm about to give to everybody. So we're going to start things all over from the beginning again. So you could win some Stormbreaker. Let me do one of these.
Yeah, dude.
Right. There you go. So we got the Stormbreakers cover of Deep Cups right there. I'm not sure if this is one of them, but we definitely got Deep Cups cover. That's one. But wait, there's more. We got Saturday morning variants. Deadpool #1 is a pretty cool one with Benjamin Franklin there. If you notice the Wolverine and Spidey cards right there, that's also part of it. Then you have Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool, issue number 1. This is a nice, cool little variant there. Good like that. Also, as part of this giveaway, we got a Rob Liefeld drawing feet and the rest of the body as
There you
well.
go.
Deadpool, issue number 3. We're gonna also throw in this Wolverine die cut. Nice little cover there. Also, we got to throw the X Deaths of Wolverine #1 Dan Jurgens cover. That's going to be part of this giveaway. Also, a signed Chris Claremont Wolverine 125. That's a fun book there.
Mhm.
More signed books. We have Wolverine First Class signed by Fred Van Lent. You see a signature right there.
Mhm.
And also, we're going to be doing issue number 2, as well as issue number 3 of this book. This is all part of this giveaway. I'm throwing in this Wolverine Origin by Joe Quesada, and it is signed by Joe Quesada, so that's a beautiful cover right there. And we're also getting the CF Villa deep cuts. Now, this one's an era. Unless you want staples right in these two places. I went to look up to see if there was like more copies of this,
Yeah.
and I can't seem to find it. So that was just weird. We got some reprint goodness of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, as well as New Mutants 98, the foil variant.
Yes.
And of course, if you are a Rat Pack Urban and Elite, you qualify for not just those, you'll qualify for the Deadpool Wolverine Ivan Tao cover. This is a hot book right now. Look at that thing.
Mm,
You have that one.
that's beautiful.
You're gonna also qualify for the Deadpool #1 with the crown. So there's the little crown right there. And for Urban and Elite members, if you win, then you will get the Slabby
Nice.
as well. So that all this is going to be part of July's giveaway. It's a lot of stuff, and like I said, I'm not finished. There's more to come next week. I'll throw in a few more other books in there, but dude, it has been a pleasure. It has been a blast.
Yeah, thank you.
It's now time to go out to Scotty's channel or to the Council of Comics, or wait till Roscoe, because the next time you're going to see me is going to be Wednesday at the fights.
Nice.
So Comic Book Fights Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Well, 10 o'clock somewhere else in Puerto Rico, maybe. But it's 9 o'clock Heroes time. Geek Out with Roscoe versus Phil Treathouse. That's right. It's battle between the lines. Just to let you know, the card is subject to change just in case things happen. And yes, hot dog. Put him up. See, Phil is ready.
He's ready.
He is ready to go right there. Black Spiders, you gotta let me know who you want in your cover of your book. So that's happening this Wednesday. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna have fun. The last match was amazing. Last match was great. You know, all we gotta say is
Let's get it on!
all right. So don't forget the fight's happening, and it's just gonna be a fun time. So with that said, guys, there's one thing I need to tell you, and that is I need to give you a sincere thank you from the bottom of my heart, Paul. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for doing this for me, last minute thing. So with that said, let's say thank you.
I think this is it. I think you're about to go home.
Okay, all right.
Look, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I never said thank you.
And you'll never have to.
I guess I'll see you.
All right, guys, go check out Scotty Vaughn's Council of Comics, Geek Out 22, and Couple Comics. We'll see you next time. Excelsior.